Former Hillary Clinton campaign chairman John Podesta had a hilarious exchange this weekend on CBS. Nancy Cordes asked why the Russians seemed more capable of targeting swing states than the Hillary campaign did. Watch this.
How is it that these Russian operatives knew to focus on purple states like Michigan and Wisconsin, and your campaign didn't?
Well, of course, we spent a lot of time and energy and effort in all those states.
Hillary Clinton herself did not spend much time in those states.
At the end of the day, we fell short in those states. And I think that this active measures effort by the Russians could have tilted the election in Donald Trump's favor.
Keep telling yourself that. Actually, the Russians turned out not to be very good campaign operatives. They were terrible at targeting swing states. According to Robert Mueller's indictments, they didn't even know what a purple state was until 2016. Just a few $100 were spent on key states like Michigan and Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, thousands were wasted in states like California and Maryland that obviously were going Democrat from day one, and did. Cleta Mitchell is an attorney and a renowned campaign finance expert who's been around a long time watching campaigns. She joins us in the studio. So, Cleta, if you were attempting to defeat Donald Trump, or rather Hillary Clinton in favor of Trump, would you have done what the Russians did?
Well, I would have spent a lot more than $100,000 or $46,000 or whatever number it is that the Senate Intelligence Committee actually heard testimony from Facebook that they can only account for $46,000 having been spent. Total.
So why are we hearing $1 million a month? I just heard that.
I know. I heard it today, too. I think that it's in the Democratic talking points. They keep having to change the facts so that they can make it look like there was a lot more.
But does that number come from anywhere authoritative?
Not that I've seen. The testimony from Facebook was that it was $46,000. Testimony before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the hearing, was that it was in the neighborhood of $100,000.
So total. So just to put, okay, so this was the most expensive presidential campaign ever waged by anybody in the history of the world. So $46,000. Put that in perspective. If I were running for, I don't know, the Wyoming's 1 congressional district, that seat, would I spend $46,000? Would that be enough?
No, you'd spend a lot more than that if you were running for an at-large seat in Wyoming. Or look, I mean, the campaigns, the Trump campaign and the Hillary Clinton campaign together spent $81 million on Facebook.
Just on Facebook?
On social media.
Yeah.
Social media. Now, that doesn't count all the super PACs. It doesn't count the party committees. Just the 2 campaigns. So the money that was spent by the Russians on social media was a drop in the bucket. And as Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein said the other day, there's no evidence it influenced the outcome of the election.
How many lobbyists here in Washington do you know who spend more on lunch every year than the Russians spend on Facebook?
Well, I don't know. I don't get their lunch expense reimbursement. It's a lot.
So look, I just want to be totally clear. I'm against foreign intervention in our elections, in our policies, though it's universal. But would you say, compared to the efforts of other governments to influence the way this country operates, that this is a big effort or a small effort?
Well, I think, you know what, Tucker, you asked, that's a really good question, because frankly, I think Andy McCarthy in National Review over the weekend made a really good point, which is, why is this being treated as a lawsuit? This is counterintelligence. This is what should be dealt with by our defense and intelligence agencies, not by a prosecutor filing a criminal indictment against people who are not in the United States, and this is never going to go to trial.
No, I know.
So it's kind of all...
because it's inherently political. It's a political kabuki.
It's a political kabuki.
To make the ruling class feel better about itself for losing
Well, you know what? They actually should feel worse, because it shows, and the president is right, this does not show any kind of collusion, cooperation whatsoever with the Trump campaign. The only collusion there might be that we ought to really look at is what's been going on with the left and the Russians since the election.
Or how about since 1917?
Well, how about that?
Excuses for the Bolsheviks for 70 years. Whatever, some of us remember. Cleta, thank you. Great to see you.
Thank you.
The next U.S. Census is just 2 years away and could be having your voting power diluted by illegal immigrants. That's a real thing. We'll explain how it works next.